here for this live stream. I've been trying to work this new. YouTube has this new shit going on, but anyway, for what reason? I don't know why it was deleted. I don't know why. Well, obviously it was leaked. So this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and we are live. So I'm sitting here dipping and dabbing and all this stuff. You know, Albert says for what reason? The final boss, Lukamura, they've been hiding AG's panic attack when he realized Dubois wasn't backing down. Oh, Isaac in the building. Anytime it comes to AJ, something weird always happens. Chrissy Sweet, really? Yes, really, Chrissy. If you guys don't know, um, the AJ versus Daniel Dubois Faceoff was leaked yesterday. And I'm not talking about what happened a month ago. I'm talking about what they mistakenly leaked yesterday. Okay. So a lot of people seen it. I was at the track yesterday blowing off some steam and I was live myself. And a lot of you guys were like, hey, they just leaked this the zone face off between AJ and Daniel Dubois. So I was like, okay, well, I'll check it out because I didn't plan to be on long anyway. But when I did jump off alive and looked for it, I couldn't find it. So I'm like, okay, well, what's the deal? So I went to my boy Jay Roos Theory. I went to G-Man Boxing. I went to a lot of places that already saw it. And they were like, yeah, man, it was a trip because AJ stepped to Daniel Dubois. And Daniel Dubois was saying that he was coming from Brazil. It was a lot of stuff that I didn't even see. I didn't even know what was going on. How do this make sense? Um, Luca delusional casual number one AJ hater. You mean the same Dubois who quit and lost against an older Joyce and also quit against Usyk in the disgraceful stoppage? Oh, should I school you more? Well, here's the thing. When when Joe Joyce beat Danny Dubois, he wasn't old. He's older now. I mean, he's closer to 40 than he is 35, but at the time he was like 35. He was just a lot older than Danny Dubois. Danny Dubois at the time was probably about 22 years old. He's been around for a long time. He's going to be one of those Joseph Parker cats if he stays in the game. He may not be because the way he's fighting, he fought Usyk already. He's lost to Joe Joyce. He's fought Jarrell Miller. He's fought Philip Hergovic. He's fighting Anthony Joshua now. He has a big house. It's probably already paid for. You know what I mean? So I don't really think that Danny Dubois needs anything. I don't think that he needs anything, honestly. So if he loses, he may just retire, right? Um, yeah, you guys are going at it. You guys are pathetic. They're gonna release it. It was just released too early. That it literally all there is to it. Stop with the silly conspiracies. Well, what I'm saying is it was leaked. So if it was leaked, why didn't it just stay out? Because it made a lot of buzz. And I guess someone's like, oh, and they deleted it off of the internet. That's what I mean. It's deleted. You know what I mean? Yeah, they snatched it. Yes, it was leaked. I don't care what it was because I don't know what the schedule was. I just know that when I went to look for it because I hollered back at my boy Jay Roos. I'm like, well, where the hell is it? And other people like, what's going on? And they were like, dude, that, it is what it is. So I couldn't tell you anything about what happened. I could tell you what I heard about what someone else saw, but I couldn't tell you what I personally seen about this situation. Look, we're not saying AJ isn't a top 5 heavyweight. We're talking about his image. Okay. Way to screw the pooch, the final booch. Okay. Ibrahim, Derek Chisora, the turd that won't flush. How can he be better than AJ? Credit proper boxing. Well, here's the thing. When you're dealing with two fighters, you're dealing with two fighters. That's it. I think what we do before we see a battle, before we see anybody get it on, we always talk about what they've done. We talk about the good things. We talk about the bad things. The haters talk about the bad things, for both fighters, all the negative stuff. And the lovers or the fans of them talk about the good things. So that's what we deal with. That's what we deal with. But none of that matters until they get in the ring. I have to keep reminding you, man, when we're dealing with accolades, we can argue about that. We can argue about performances. We can talk about mutual opponents. I think that's probably one of the most credible but that even that is based on circumstance. So if we're talking about what AJ did to Joe Joyce, let's say in sparring, versus what Joe Joyce did to Danny Dubois in a professional fight, those are two different things. And even that doesn't mean anything. None of that means anything because yeah, we've seen the leaks, context footage of AJ schooling Joe Joyce, and Joe Joyce was pissed off about that. He was like, "Dude, we were working on some stuff," and I have to remind people also, when you are sparring, that doesn't mean you're going full octane 100%. You could be there just to help that fighter because that's what you're there for. You're there to help that fighter. So you may be instructed to do certain things with that fighter, like attack him with the hook to the body and upstairs and see how he can, defend from that side. You know what I mean? From body and head. That those type of things could always be applied and instructed. That's why you want sparring partners that follows direction. Okay, it's not all like, oh, go in there and show you what you got. You're just covered and you're protected. No, no, no. A lot of times if they're working on a certain game plan, they're working on, okay, well, maybe they're fighting a hooker. Well, it's the sparring partner's job to go in there and throw a lot of hooks so they know they can catch and shoot, bow, bow, you know what I mean, and get in there and work on certain things, attack and counter or block and counter and certain things like that. They can work on certain traps. That's what that sparring partner is for. A lot of times that sparring partner is there to be a crash dummy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it is what it is. So, you're late, guy. Well, actually, I started a live stream, but it wasn't the right one. So I was on time, but it was on the wrong time. Late live stream. Kurt, me too. I say it yesterday. Dubois wants all the smoke. That kid don't duck nobody. Well, I don't know about that now. Hold on. I don't know if Danny Dubois, I'm going to make a video out of this, but I'm going to tell you guys up front. Danny Dubois did duck Joseph Parker. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, he did. If you think, he'll fight anyone. No, he likes to fight. He's a young guy, but no, he swerved Joseph Parker. See, here's the thing. When they were doing the Days of Reckoning, a lot of these things came to light, and that's what I love about Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller will blatantly, outwardly, publicly say something that people didn't know. If you can remember when Jarrell Miller got the call, they were like, well, you know what? We don't know what Jarrell Miller, we don't know who we will put him up against, because how it works is they ask the people that are high priority who they really want to fight. So maybe they ask AJ, well, hey, would you like to fight Otto Weiland, before they ask someone like Danny Dubois? Okay, or Philip Hergovic, better yet. That's why he was able to fight Demori. Remember Demori? Is it Jake Demori? That's why he fought someone that we never heard of. I'd never heard of this guy. Is it Mark Demori, right? Mark Demori. So he got the opportunity to fight Mark Demori, which nobody ever heard of. Well, according to Jarrell Miller, they asked him, well, hey, how about Parker versus Dubois? They didn't want that. And see what I mean? They understand, they means the team of Dubois, right? Okay, so if it's the team of Dubois, that means Dubois heard what went down in his team. Come on now. So I ain't going to say, oh, he don't duck nobody. No, we can't do that. Arizism in the building. J. Roos Theory, thanks for the shout out. Yeah, because remember, man, I was actually getting food at the time, and I was looking for it, and I was tired. I just came back from town and all that stuff, and, I was like, well, where is it? You start looking for it, and you couldn't find it. Lamar Cummings, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Yeah, I'm getting better, man. Everything's good. Kurt, this era of heavyweights is very good. They're all right. Salute Kurt DeVille, Alonzo's cooking attorney. Counterpunch to you. Denial. What makes you think AJ won't have God's help? Okay. Dubois wants all the smoke. I've went everywhere looking everywhere for that video. Why is it? Well, they deleted it. The Faceoff vanished. That was crazy. So, I I don't know what was it, a face off, or was it like what was it? I mean, it was deleted. I don't I don't know what it was, because I just heard when I was online, and then now I think about it, I wish I would have jumped offline and at least looked at it, because I would have had some material between the two, because I don't know. And what I'm not going to do is say, well, this is what I think. Well, I don't know. I didn't see the shit. You know, they might post it closer to the time, but I mean, it's what? It's September 31st. So, oh, it was at the table. So this was different from, this was just them, those two. Who was in the middle? Who was in the middle of the table? Was it a day? Was it just a day and then Joshua and Dubois? Somebody help me out. Let me close this door. I'm getting kind of crunk. It was a face-off. Dubois was very confident and even asked AJ if he could take the shots he took from Hergovic. AJ just looked pissed. Ah, okay. Dubois was very confident. He even asked if AJ could take the shots he took from Hergovic. So that means he was wondering if like AJ could take the shots that Hergovic gave him, or he gave Hergovic. Which one? A day, Frank and Eddie. Well, I mean, we've already saw some of that though. Yeah, there was another face off deleted. Well, so this, okay. That means they only showed clips of that. And if that's the case, if it's the same day and it was like months ago or a month ago, well, just them two, no promoters. Okay, so it's just them two, no promoters. Okay, well, this was different then. Because again, I don't know. So I was left in the dark. I'm like, okay, well, that's the next biggest heavyweight fight that we have. You know, Canelo has an exhibition with Belonga. Belonga, you know, I'm going to cover that fight with Canelo and Belonga, but that's not the fight that really matters, does it? It doesn't matter. Blessings to you, Mr. DeVille. Shout out to Anthony Evelyn in the building. Mama Lou in the building. Counterpunch to you in the building. Bars. The promoters were there. AJ got into it with Frank Warren. Okay, so I didn't hear. So I don't know. So, okay. There were promoters present. Okay, so the promoters were there. I mean, how many I mean, from a scale from 1 to 10, how good was it? I think Dubois was saying AJ doesn't have a chin like him because he felt AJ can't take the shots that he received from Hergovic. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think we'll know, but I think it's a difference between what you are able to take versus what you're able to ditch out too. You know, because see, here's the thing: you can hit as hard as you want to, but if you can't take the shots, it doesn't really matter. The guy doesn't have to hit as hard as you. You know, so it may be Danny Dubois. He showed that he does have a chin. He showed that, hey, he can take a licking, keep on ticking, you know, and start ditching out what he needs to be about. Bars. He has showed that. Danny Dubois showed that, hey, man, you know, because Jarrell Miller, it ain't like Jarrell Miller's not known for it being a knockout puncher, no. But I think he hits hard enough to get people's attention, especially being that damn big. Jarrell Miller's huge. You know, and you've seen when Jarrell Miller did land on Dubois, Dubois kind of, you know, gave the Dubois is funny, man. Dubois is one of those guys, you know, he gets hit and he's like, you know, and he's just this naturally young, stocky kid. You know, he's shorter than AJ, and I think he's naturally stockier than AJ. You know what I mean? See, AJ got to work for that, work for those results. You know what I mean? Because he's normally a taller, leaner guy. You know, whereas Dubois, you know, he's kind of he's I'm not even gonna call him husky because I don't think I think that would be disrespectful. He's stocky. You know, he's naturally heavier. Naturally heavier. You know. Yes, there was one with promoters, then the new one was deleted, bro. Okay, so it was a sit down where AJ said he'll throw a chair at Dubois. Well, we already saw that one. We've already saw that one. I saw that one. Promoters were there. What did you watch? Invisible. Jay Roos says a 10. Wow. So that means I wanted to see that. Kurt, how we will see Dillian White versus Jarrell Miller. I don't know. I would like to see it. I mean, that would be a good fight. And you got Jarrell Miller fighting Daniel Dubois, then Andy Ruiz. And if he fights Dillian White after that, that's a good itinerary, man. You know, that's a hard string of fighters because Andy Ruiz broke his hand. You know, say what you want about Andy. He broke his hand. He just got outworked, you know, and then he was in there with someone that actually has a good chin. In fact, probably just as good as his. So that was a fight that it was very interesting. You know, the durability and the endurance was really a huge factor in that fight, along with the size. AJ and Eddie looked at each other when Frank said Dubois gave Usyk his toughest fight. AJ almost laughed and then looked annoyed. Well, I think this is what I'm thinking because I've seen AJ, you know, give the poker face. I think he does this poker face like thing. Well, he's like, you know, if you've seen AJ, you've seen him in the days of reckoning. He's like, and the only person, and here's the thing, I still want to see Jarrell Miller versus AJ, man. I got to see that fight. That fight must happen because Jarrell Miller ain't going nowhere. He got beat the first time. Sure, all of them have got beat now except for Usyk. Everyone has been beaten. Every single one of them that's fought anybody. The Furies, the Joshuas, the Wilders, everybody has been beat. So that really doesn't mean anything. Floyd Mayweather shit's over. That's done. So when you see AJ saying all that to say this, and AJ's putting that poker face. No, here he is. Hold on. Here's AJ. I gotta show you guys. Here's AJ. But then guess what? As soon as Jarrell Miller said something, shut the fuck up. Don't even start with me. I'll come over there and slap you. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You let this guy from Brooklyn break your poker face. You know what I mean? Break that, oh, I'm cool, nothing bothers me. I have this, you know, baby-faced assassin kind of look. I'm at a poker table type. You know, and you let Jarrell Miller do that, that fight gotta happen. Because you know that Jarrell Miller has the ability to get under AJ's skin. That's why I say that fight must happen. But you know, back to Jay Roos Theory's comment. Listen, you know, him giving Dubois giving him the hardest fight. I don't think so. Because besides the controversial punch that the referee already ruled as a low blow, then keep in mind, other referees said this about that issue. Joe Cortez, which is a retired referee, as we know, I'm fair and I'm firm. That's his slogan, and he said, "Well, had it been me, I would have gave a warning first." And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, why would you give a warning? Because this is what he said. He said, "Well, I think it was legal, but I think I would have gave a warning first." And I'm like, well, wait a minute, wait. If it's legal, why would you give a warning to something legal? So obviously something was gone. Something was like maybe it was just too close. Maybe it's that to that borderline. Wait. And all that's okay, but then again, it's a little almost too. You know what I mean? I don't know what that was, but besides that, the rest of that fight, Usyk was eating him up, and Daniel Dubois, he just couldn't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And look, I don't think that he was ready for that type of fight. I just don't. I don't think Danny Dubois is. Maybe he is now. I think he will have a better fight or a different fight with Alexander Usyk if he fought him again, on top of Usyk being what? That was last year, this year. And then if he knocks out AJ, and then Usyk beats Tyson Fury, right? You got to look at it in all angles. He will fight him different in 2025 versus how he fought him in 2023. I believe that. I think Daniel Dubois will fight him a lot different. I think he will come at Usyk and try to, overcome him. But whatever was going on with Daniel, um, if it's either healed or it's patched very well. And what I mean by that is you don't see the same issues that Dubois has. He don't get down and out of fear or some kind of mental like I don't like to get hit, and so therefore I'm going to take a knee type situation. No, we've seen him in the last two fights, and he took those shots and he kept coming and he gave his own shots and he gave his own shots and he pressed the gas and he got those guys out of there. That's exactly what we've seen Danny Dubois do lately in his two fights. And I think it's only fair to assume that that's going to be him coming into the AJ fight. I mean, you would be a fool not to assume that, because here's the thing. Philip Ergovic, that was his problem. Jarrell Miller, that was his problem. Those guys' problems were they thought all I got to do, or all we got to do, in essence, is put hands and feet on this boy. And then he's going to give because we know mentally he's not there. Well, what if he mentally is there? And he was there. So AJ would be a fool to think, oh, man, all I got to do is bat, catch him with a couple, and he's just going to go down on the double. No, he would be a fool to think that. He would be a fool to think that. And on top of that, yeah, he sparred that young kid before, and that young kid did something to him. So we got to keep a buck. We can't come up here and talk about, what he ain't going to do. We don't know what Danny Dubois is going to do. All we know is what has he done lately. Let's look at it this way. Look at AJ. What has AJ done lately? What were we saying about AJ last year? Okay. Don't look, AJ was, he lacks confidence. He's tentative. He don't have the fighting spirit no more. He should have knocked out Jermaine Franklin. Again, I was saying that along with a lot of other people. Like, man, he should have knocked out Jermaine Franklin, but instead he wanted to throw down there a mini riot after the 12th round. You guys remember that, and that was strange. Then I'm like, well, what was all that energy when you was fighting him? You was doing a Klitschko impersonation or an impression, and fighting him and jabbing it and grabbing him. Okay. But then the end of the year, he's back. Then what he did to Francis Ngannou, now I know he's back. Okay, so we say that about AJ, right? So why can't we do the same for Danny Dubois? Danny Dubois, yes, he did some suspect stuff. He took a knee from a jab. That's suspect. Kevin Ladena, he just bowed down before even Ladena swung at him. I saw that yesterday. And I'm like, okay. And they said they blamed it on his leg. Bro, if you had a problem with your leg, you're going to you're going to notion to it. You're going to you're going to be limping. Something's going to be going on with it, because that's your foundation. It's very, very seldom when you can hide a leg injury. That's what Frank told us. That don't mean it was true. That might have just been something mental that Danny Dubois was dealing with. But whatever that was, we haven't seen it in his last two fights, just like we haven't seen the tentative AJ in his last two fights. So guess what? Both of these guys are on even playing fields. So who's going to do what they're going to do? Who's going to come through? Will Dubois step and press the gas like he did with Philip Ergovic and Jarrell Miller? And will AJ come out just throwing those heavy shots and knocking people straight out? We'll see this fight. I don't see this fight going 12 rounds at all. Let me get back to the comments. Lion's opinion. Good evening, crew. In Lennox Lewis's voice. Big up cut. Big up cut. Again, I will say AJ destroys him within 7 rounds. This version of AJ is about business. Triple D getting a big payday as he's as happy as flies round shit. Okay, J1C80. Klitschko landed some really clean shots on Joshua and came back to KO him. Yeah, he did. And that Klitschko gained so much respect from that fight. And especially for me, like when I seen Klitschko fight Joshua, I was with my father, bro. We watched that fight. My dad was like, "Yeah, yeah," and we weren't even sitting down. Yeah, you had the couch back there, but we wasn't sitting on the couch. We were up. You got a good fight when you can't even sit down because you're enjoying it too much. That's the type of fight that Joshua and Klitschko produced. Okay, so it was a very good fight. And Klitschko did land some shots. Honestly, I think Klitschko should have pressed the gas and got him out of there, just like Andy Ruiz did. Andy Ruiz was throwing those bows because he knew, like, look, I got to get this guy out. No, no second win here. Get him out quickly. Hurry up and get him out. Okay. Gloves are off, deleted. Okay. Warm Hearts Worldwide Charity. Dubois is not taking into consideration that ever since sparring AJ years ago, that AJ has improved a lot ever since, and he is basing his approach based on that, but he'd be surprised and schooled for sure. My thing is, here's my thing. It's the bravado, it's the ego. People don't want to understand that someone at some point of time got the best of them. People don't want to admit that. And this may be a situation like that. Okay. So if Daniel Dubois did drop AJ or knocked AJ out and stuff like that, I think it's time for someone to admit it. But again, bravado, ego, nah, that won't allow that to happen. But I'll tell you this, based on the way AJ was acting, like I'll smash your face and all that, don't disrespect me, Daniel. Don't disrespect me. Daniel, I'll smash your face. Don't disrespect me. Daniel, don't disrespect me. The way he was acting, I'm like, okay, I think something happened. I don't know what it was, but something happened. Because have you seen AJ that? Because I mean, Daniel was just talking, we can swing. If he wants to swing up, we can swing right now. Don't disrespect me, Daniel. Don't disrespect me, Daniel. Don't disrespect. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, I mean, it wasn't that bad. He's just saying, hey, I'm ready to go right now. Basically, that's all he was saying. Now, he did add, like, hey, if he wants to swing, we can go right now. But come on, man. What was that really necessary from AJ? Was that comment, was that response really all that necessary from AJ? You know what I mean? Because Daniel Dubois, we all know Daniel. He's a good kid. He ain't really no trash talker. He tries, but he's not really that good at it. He don't have a PhD in trash talk. He's not a Jarrell Miller. He's not a Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? He's not any of those guys like that. But he tries. And I think he was just trying and in that situation and just trying to show that, hey, I'm ready to fight. Just like AJ said, I just want to fight. Right? Come on now. Kurt, AJ has problems with shorter fighters or fights. All the shorter fighters he fought, he either lost to or went 12 rounds. I think Dubois have gave him lots of problems. Might give him lots of problems. Well, I think AJ, he has issues with someone that's shorter because anybody if you're fighting someone that's shorter, people think the deception is with the taller fighter, but it's really not. The deception is with the shorter fighter because you see someone shorter, you don't anticipate or you underestimate the distance factor, the wingspan, the reach. Like if you see someone shorter, you're thinking they're going to have issues with landing on you. For one, they're not that much bad. They're not that bad. Listen, I bet you Daniel Dubois and Dillian White are the same height, and he handled Dillian. Dillian, he handled him. It was a good fight, but he handled him. Yes, it was all the full version of it. He says, is AJ all you talk about? Oh, I mean, the live stream is about AJ, dude. That's what it's about. It's about the face-off that was deleted, Bernie. Counterpunch. The final boss, Luca Mora. They deleted gloves are off with Miller and AJ to protect it. Yeah. Look, Luca Mora, let me tell you something. That's something that I would pay for. Well, I would pay for that. because they have it somewhere and it was never released, because it was going to be released, but then Jarrell Miller failed them damn drug test. But I can tell you this, Jarrell Miller was on Sway in the morning. He was on the Breakfast Club. Um, those are the two hottest radio stations in the country right there. Sway in the morning and the Breakfast Club. They, millions of subscribers. A lot of people would have saw that and then see Beyond the Gloves. That's in Britain. And the way things were going, I mean, AJ, he did a pretty good, account of it. He made a pretty good account of himself, but Jarrell Miller was killing it. Jarrell Miller was killing it. And then see if that Beyond the Gloves would have came out. And see, AJ even said that. He said, no, man, because like Jarrell Miller was killing him on the freestyle. Because they both freestyle, but when they were together face to face, Jarrell Miller was, according to AJ, not me. According to AJ, I never saw it. We never saw it. But according to AJ, it was like, man, yeah, I wish, I would have, had time or whatever. No, that's what freestyles is about. AJ is an actor. Loreco Perez. Yo, what up, Kurt and crew? Much respect. Counterpunch to you. Kurt, what about Jarrell Miller versus Jermaine Franklin next? That would be a good fight, but I think a fight like that would be kind of like it would be like a hippo taking on a rhinoceros, Two sturdy guys. Jermaine Franklin is probably about Andy Ruiz's height. I think that fight would have, it would go 12 rounds. I don't see a knockout or anything like that. You could be wrong, though. It could be a fight of the year based on how these dudes fight. Jermaine Franklin, he's a very aggressive and he has a good chin. He knows how to take punches, too. He took AJ shots. You know what I mean? AJ caught this man with a body shot and finally hurt him. But, the shots that AJ was catching him with, he was able to take those shots. You took Dillian White. In fact, Dillian White was closer to knocking out Jermaine Franklin or dropping Jermaine Franklin than AJ was. You know what I'm saying? So, it just depends. Because I think the way Dillian White throws punches, he wings these shots. He's one of those guys, he comes in to really chop and drop you. That's what his intentions are when he swings. I think AJ was just trying to be accurate, right? Daniel is trying too much to have an identity, hence his antics. He talks about taking a punch. AJ's never quit. He gets up all the time, but Dubois has quit several. So I don't know what he's talking about. Well, Danny Dubois, and AJ. A lot of people may argue that AJ quit in the Andy Ruiz fight. And I'm going to tell you something about that fight. In the 7th rounds with what we saw between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, don't you guys understand that referee saved Anthony Joshua a lot of embarrassment? I'm going to say it again. The referee that stopped AJ from continuing to fight Andy Ruiz in the first fight at Madison Square Garden, June 1st, 2019, did him a favor. And I want people to understand, this is no AJ fanboy shit. I'm just talking boxing and situation and circumstance. If AJ would have kept going on there, he probably would have kept. Listen, the last punch that Andy landed, it was kind of like behind the head, but AJ was already going down. This man had no resistance whatsoever. In the 7th round, he had shot his wad. There was no coming back. He could have continued. How could you stop the fight? It wasn't like that. The man was down 4 times. 4. Okay, it wasn't as bad, but it's in the same ballpark as Martin McCauley destroying Jared Anderson. There we go. See, AJ, he was spared. That was like, nah, man, stop this fight because this man, first time in America, you know, he's a millionaire. He has all these endorsements. He's a unified champion. He was undefeated. You know what I mean? He beat Klitschko and took him out of the game. Then he fought Parker, and then he fought Charles Martin and took that portion of the belt. And then he comes to America and fights a little short, fat Mexican after Jarrell Miller fails the drug test, and the fat Mexican catches him, hurts him, drops him once, drops him twice, drops him 3 times, drops him 4 times. What do you think? No, that referee did him a favor. He did him a favor. Triple D is weak minded. Vincent N, what's good, Kurt? Any word on AJ, how AJ and Dubois sparring camps are going? No, I haven't heard. I've heard, well, on AJ's end, Danny Dubois' camp has been very quiet, which I think is good. You know, I think the less you say about what's going on, the better. You know, you don't need leaked anything. Okay. So AJ Fury is still a big fight in 2025. April Fool's Day was almost 5 months ago, champ. If Sloth Joyce's jab disabled reboot Dubois, what the hell you think AJ is going to do? Well, Skrilla 50, you got a good, you made a good point right there. You made a good point. I just wonder what and how Danny Dubois is, but I think Danny Dubois is a guy, you know, he's sturdy and he, you know, he likes to, you know, this is Danny Dubois' head movement. That's his head movement. It ain't, no, it's, you know what I mean? He doesn't have, I don't know. I don't know if that's coordination. I don't know what that is. He's not defensively, like he doesn't move his head. You know, if this is the center line, is bop, 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 bop. That's what's happening. That's what's going to happen. He's going to take shots. Okay. He's going to get hit. But here's the thing about Danny Dubois, though, that you haven't realized. When he does, he does throw. When he throws, by default, his head will move. So if you do jab and he just happens to throw, he's good at timing those shots at times. He caught Usyk a couple times with those punches, with overhand rights. Usyk just has a good chin. Again, he doesn't get a lot of credit for it coming up from cruiserweight, right? But yeah, he can take a shot. He took Dubois' shot. He took Tyson's shot. He took Joshua's shots. He took those shots. He took Derek Chisora's shots. You know, Chaz Witherspoon's shots. He took those shots, okay? But Danny Dubois, you know, I mean, so a lot of his offense can help aid his defense, especially when he goes to throw, because Danny Dubois throws, he chops with his right hand and he comes with an overhand right. By default, it's not like he's going to throw it this way. No, he's going to put his body into it because he knows how to punch. So that's the only thing that really aids and helps Danny Dubois from getting punched straight on, because his head normally is not off the center line. It's not. And he's not going to bring it there unless he's doing a movement that requires his head to move. Boom. And if you notice also, what am I doing? Boom, I'm coming forward. And that's another thing we need to talk about with Danny Dubois. Danny Dubois comes forward. He does the Evander Holyfield-like motion where he's bow. He comes in and what happens? Head. You know, he can catch you in that head. He can headbutt you. So you got to take that into account, because a lot of people that talked about Philip Hrgovic, like, whoa, wait a minute, man, he headbutted Philip Hrgovic. Do you think all those shots were made from punches? All those cuts were made from punches? No, they were made from headbutts. So it's a lot of factors you need to think about. His trainer said that this is going to be hands up defense. Okay, well, I mean, that's one way to protect yourself, kinda, you know, stop him with your arms and your fists. But that, you know, ass winky right, that's not 100% effective. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to bob and weave, slip and dip. You don't want to just hold your hands up, you know, because over time, someone's jabbing you. If someone's jabbing you at that hand, your hands are hitting your face. So in essence, your hands, it's like a secondary damage blow. So someone throws a jab or throws a right hand, and you block it. So you're protecting your face. But what is protecting your hand from your face? Nothing. It's gonna hit. So it's going to land at some point. That's why they suggest you do push-ups and you make your arms stronger so you're able to brace those punches. A lot of times people, you got to keep it close to your face, but unfortunately, when you get punched in the gloves will hit your face and it will require and have damage. Okay? So it is what it is. Anything can happen in terms of accidents. That's true. Bow before your king. Klitschko let Joshua get up. Facts. Well, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done that. He should have took. See, in the seventh round, JJ should have been gone, bro. Because I didn't think AJ was going to beat Klitschko, so I was fooled. And I had nothing against AJ. I just didn't think he was going to beat Klitschko. I didn't think he was going to beat Klitschko. Like, they ain't going to whoop no Klitschko, bro. That ain't going to happen. And I saw the Tyson Fury fight a year and a half later. I saw that fight. I saw it, but I mean, I didn't really have any, feelings about it because I know Tyson Fury just did what Tyson Fury does. And then he sung and he, got the belts and, So it is what it is. No bias. If Triple D puts it on AJ early, he can cause problems, but AJ's footwork is superior to the Triple D. Triple D's jab is elite. However, AJ, more experience, hits harder, and Ben, his trainer, has many Klitschko vibes. AJ is scared. Okay. AJ scared people. King Grayson in the building. Topentine, you called him Carbon. Conor McGregor will be there ringside and says it will be over after 10 big lines. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Have you ever boxed before? Yes, I used to be an amateur boxer. I know I was never pro. Lifestyle was too bad. Go figure. Start having children, stuff like that. Excuses. Love the sport, just didn't go pro. Didn't put the commitment in to go pro. Kirk, do you have an AJ impression for us? I remember the one where he was just like, he gets back into the ring and he's like, he has the Ukraine flag on him. He's just like, listen, I was going to jail and, I'm not a 12-round fighter. I'm 18 stone. He's been fighting since he was 5. So I was going to go to jail. I'm not Klitschko. Real Eyes, what's up, brother? Appreciate it. First super chat of the day. Hey, I missed those, man. What happened, man? People should start showing me love like Real Eyes. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it. You didn't have to, but you did. Yeah, Sons of Abraham. Yeah, man, they deleted it. They deleted it, man. Oh, good. Now that AJ had he went, do not buy from white traders. Man, I remember all that stuff. And I'll tell you this, from 2020, I'm going to share this with you guys. Like, everybody was locked up. I was in my town home looking crazy. I think like everybody else was, unless you were in the medical field and you actually had to go to work. But I think people were losing their minds a bit. I think people were out of their gourd because they didn't know what to expect. Now, Wilder is still dealing with major issues. Yeah, I believe that. Alan Vid in the building. Counterpunch to you. Kurt, what about Deontay Wilder versus Jermaine Franklin? Well, if you guys see my video about Deontay Wilder has, revealed he had a sling. So he might have had surgery, but it's all speculation because we don't know what the hell's going on with him. We just know he had a sling. He had his arm in a sling. Well, at times you got it 100%. There's only one trigger, Don. I prefer Fury Usyk than both the AJ fights. When we went into lockdown, we all went out as we weren't bowing to the Babylon. Wilder always has surgery. His bones are too thin. And if Dubois tries to counter the jab, he will get hurt so bad with timing. It depends. Depends how he times his jab. You know, if AJ comes in there trying to just land a jab, that's what it's going to be. Don't wish me Happy New Year. Okay. Sup, Skrilla? What's good? Psycho Crush in the building. Triple D has little defense. His defense isn't that great, but he does have some level of defense, especially when he throws punches. The good thing about Danny Dubois, though, his head is not on the center line when he throws punches. So if he throws enough punches, his head's not where it should be to get hit, you know. So, not saying it can't get hit here or here, but what I'm saying, it won't be straight up the middle. You know what I mean? Especially when he's throwing. Now, if he's sitting there trying to figure stuff out, yeah, that's when you have full opportunity because he doesn't have head movement. So, you know, will he headbutt AJ too? Well, if he headbutts AJ, you know, hopefully the referee will do his job and see that, hey, hopefully it's not intentional or whatever, but if it is a clash of heads, it doesn't revert in a situation where it's cut or something like that. AJ will keep him at length. Maybe. But I am interested to see how AJ's going to fight Dubois. Will he fight Dubois like he fought Jermaine Franklin? Because if that happens, people, then you can't say, and then the narratives will begin again. Because people will say, like, okay, well, why is he fighting Danny Dubois like that? He didn't fight Otto Weiland like that because Otto Weiland don't have those dynamite punches. Does he? No. Otto Weiland's a quick, kind of awkward southpaw that he can give you problems. Okay, and his defense is okay, but he doesn't have punching power to shut your lights out or give you anything to really worry about. You know, he could probably outpoint you if he can outwork you and if he can land and he's successful with his own game plan. But his punches, you've seen Otto Weiland. His shot, I remember when he fought Dominic Breazeale. That fight went 12 rounds, and the harder punches landed were from Dominic Breazeale. They were just slow, like molasses in the wintertime punches. They were very slow. He will hurt him like Dillian White. You know, I say this, like I said yesterday, when I found out that Frank Warren indeed put and signed Danny Dubois at that young age based on what he did with Anthony Joshua. So Anthony Joshua is the reason why Frank Warren signed him. He was influenced to sign Danny Dubois based on what he heard. Yo, you heard about what this kid did to Anthony Joshua? What did he do? He knocked him out. Really? Get him in here. Let him sign a contract. Kurt, who wins? Efe Ajagba versus Martin Bakali. Martin Bakali would destroy Efe Ajagba. I still want to see it though. But come on, bro. That Efe Ajagba, his defense is too poor. It's too poor. Bakali will destroy Efe Ajagba. However, does it hold? Does it have a following? Sure it is. Sure it does. They're two African fighters. One from the Congo and the other one from Nigeria. Yes, that will be a huge fight, especially for African boxing. You know what I mean? So, yes, of course, I would love to see that. You know, why not? Psycho Crusher, did LRB grow a neck yet? No. But he probably grew some balls. That's probably why he's not with Floyd no more. Lee Foster, I was working doing painting outside of houses all through lockdown. Yeah, that's a good thing. You're outside, you know, you got a mask on anyway, right? So I'm thinking, right? Some people. Oscar Henao. Hello, Kurt. Counterpunch to you, dude. Hope all is well. Greetings from Romania. I have AJ winning, but it's HWB. Okay. Anything can happen. Okay. AJ might fight Triple D like Andy too. but give us a knockdown shot. He said he was going to do, but refrain from. Well, uh, I mean, if you just want to win a fight like that, I wouldn't recommend that because people will put AJ back in that same box that he once was in before he fought Otto Wylin. Bars. AJ will stretch out Triple D's neck with an uppercut. I don't know. I don't see a uppercut landing for Dubois. I mean, because Dubois is a guy. It could. Because Dubois is like he's a big, powerful, stiff fighter. So he could get hit right up with a right uppercut, but I think that would be risky for AJ. AJ's taller, and since he is taller, just a bit tall, not much, okay, not much taller, but he's about an inch and some centimeters taller than 6'4" to 6'5". Well, really, it's 6'4" to 6'6". Because I look at more like Daniel Dubois probably being about 6'4" and a half, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Not 6'5". I don't think he's 6'5", because he's not taller than Joe Joyce. If you remember, Joe Joyce was taller than Danny Dubois. But it didn't matter, did it? I seen an interview where Johnny Nelson was talking about boxers on silent bans. How come you ain't covered it? On silent bans? Huey Newton Jr., I haven't heard of anything like that. I haven't heard of a silent ban. So Triple D has AJ to thank for his career. Pretty much. Because, see, here's the thing. Heavyweight boxing was dead, then dead. Okay? Let me turn this off. Yeah, this is bothering me. I always hated ceiling fans. I don't really care for them. My allergies are bothering me because the temperature's dropping and it's changing. So we all know that Tyson Fury, he was the pioneer. He beat Vladimir Klitschko, but he fell off. While he fell off and taking his time doing whatever he was doing, AJ was coming up. And when AJ was coming up, people seen the Golden Olympian. They seen how, he had potential. They didn't know where he was going to and who he was going to be signed from. Lennox Lewis even invited him over to Jamaica and made him an offer, okay, which he didn't give Lennox Lewis an answer right away. Then he goes back to England. Then he signs with Eddie Hearn. So now Eddie has him. So then, he was fast-tracked very quickly in his career, AJ was. Okay, so at that time, though, around that time, he sparred Danny Dubois. But people knew, like, hey, AJ, that's that new kid on the block. Watch out for him. Okay, so by the time Dubois did whatever he did with him, Frank was like, look, I know Frank got that new young kid, that a Golden Olympian, but you know what? I need someone to foil it. I need an answer for it. It's almost like the 1996 Chevy Impala, right? The SS. And then Ford, that's Chevy. So Ford, which is Queensberry, Chevy, which is Matchroom, they needed someone or some car to combat with that. What did they come out with? They came out with the Marauder. But it took them, 6 years? No, 7 years. Because the Marauder didn't come out until 2023. Well, here you go. So you got the Marauder versus the SS Supersport. You know what I mean? And now they're on a course to come together to see who is the next and who is the best. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. I want to see Caballero and Macaulay. Caballero and Macaulay. I don't know. And see, something about Caballero, having to get to the body. He has good footwork, so he's able to get in and get out. but he tends to be aggressive because he knows what he wants to do. And what Caballero is known for, if we've seen him in his two fights against Mark Madoff and Frank Sanchez, we've seen that he likes to get in there and work that body. Well, fighting someone like McCauley, you got to be careful. You better be careful because when he comes in to throw those rights and those left hooks to the body and to the liver, for one, Mark McCauley keeps those trunks high. So, that may be a factor of getting to where he needs to get to hurt and to stop and to affect his punches to make an effect. But he has to come in. So the thing is, we've seen what Mark McCauley does with uppercuts. Those uppercuts, man, could be crucial. They could be devastating for somebody like Caballero, especially if he gets caught with them trying to come inside. Because, Mark McCauley's a guy that he throws shots quick and he lets them rip. He doesn't dip and try to come up with shots. No, he just chops with these shots. He chops with these shots from wherever position that he's in. That could be very bad for Caballero. So stylistically, I don't know if that would be a good fight for Caballero. Honestly, I don't know if that would be a good fight for him because, Caballero's good at coming in and then coming and stepping it out. Then he comes in and he might want to work the body. But then, McCauley, we've seen what he does and how he delivers uppercuts. You ask Jared Anderson, it is not pretty. Okay? So I don't know. That could be a very challenging fight for Caballero. And I like Caballero. He's another dark horse, another wild card. He's one of those guys that, hey, who the hell is he going to fight next? You know what I'm saying? The final boss, he looks more happy. Speak about African boxers. Do you remember Junior Makabu? Well, Makabu is his brother. That's the older brother of Martin McCauley. Is Benavidez versus Bivol happening? Real eyes, absolutely. October 12th, we have Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world, and it's happening in Saudi Arabia. October 12th. Mark that on your calendars, people. That's the next fight I want to see. So in this order, okay, I want to see, of course, the rematch between Usyk and Tyson Fury. I want to see Danny Dubois take on Anthony Joshua, and I want to see Beterbiev. In fact, I want to see Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol over Anthony Joshua versus Dubois because they're unifying. Okay, they're unifying their titles, all of them. Turkey Al-Sheikh is not playing no games, bro. No reindeer games is he playing. OGB, you have to jab to set up. AJ quit also. My money will be on Triple D KO. Well, here's the thing. Anybody that's betting on Triple D and he wins, you're going to be rich. Because I'm thinking that those odds are going to be At what point does McCauley's chin give away like Triple D's did? I don't know, but understand McCauley, he fights nothing like Triple J. Triple J just got hit at will and people were able to hit him. He just took shots very well, and it is what it is. I think, this is the heavyweight division, man. That shot, everything's so primitive. People didn't understand, man. When you get punched, there's no level. No, it's just, it's either going to affect you, knock you out, or it's not. Okay, that's it. You know what I mean? Somebody, man, that dude got hit in the face. Well, what happened? Oh, he took it, or he got knocked out, or he got dropped, but he got back up, or he got staggered, or he started blinking, or he got knocked down, his legs start shaking like Castillo did. But then I knocked Dubois down multiple times. And those knockdowns, to be fair, like Danny Dubois took a knee. Everyone's looking for that limit that Danny Dubois needs to see if he will do what he's done before. Everyone's doing that. AJ is 6'5", Daniel 6'4". Okay. Kurt, that first person view of AJ throwing punches would make boxing video games view. Well, that would be dope. It would be dope. Yeah, that maybe White is secretly serving a band. Oh, okay. I haven't heard of that. No, that doesn't make sense because if he was secretly serving a band, he would have not been able to fight Christian Hammer, even though that was like in like Spain or something like that. Huh. If AJ loses, it's over, and he has way more to lose. All the pressure is on him. He hasn't performed well under pressure. Well, it may be all over for AJ as far as getting a belt or a title, but I can tell you what is not over for, and not over for Triple D. And see, here's the thing: what would give Frank Warren the hugest boner that he's ever had, as if Triple D would knock out AJ, and then Tyson Fury would avenge his loss. And he has all the heavyweights. Advantage Queensberry, 100% heavyweight lives in that promotional company. And guys, and I'm going to tell you something too. Guys like McCauley, Martin McCauley, he would never get an opportunity. Never. Frank would shut down each. He wouldn't put. You think Frank Warren would put Danny Dubois in there with somebody like Martin McCauley? No. See, him and Bob Arum are good friends. You know, they co-promoted Tyson Fury together. I think they kind of still do, maybe. But nonetheless, you know, he's seen what that's like, and he felt bad for Bob because he knew, well, man, Bob, you shouldn't have done that. I know I'm not going to do that now. Saying, you know, Martin McCauley, yeah, he's an absolute monster. We know nothing about this guy. All we heard him say that he's claimed he's beat everybody up, you know, but now we've seen what he can do firsthand. And he done it to a guy that's supposed to have been the next American heavyweight champion of the world. He may still be, but it won't be because he fought Martin McCauley. It won't be because of that. No, no. Chisora versus McCauley. I don't want to see that fight. I don't want to see Chisora versus McCauley. I left at Hearn saying Dubois was getting his chance. Okay. Hearn or Frank don't want nothing to do with McCauley. AJ was supposed to fight McCauley to see who was the real African is in Congo, and AJ didn't want to know. I never heard of that. When did that supposed to happen? Wow. Uh-oh. After Chisora lost his 13th fight, I gave up. Well, I think at that, you know, who else had a record like that? Mickey Ward had a record like that, and he was always entertaining. AJ was never meant to fight McCauley. Another conspiracy theory come to life. Bosty versus Hutchinson. What's your take on that fight? I don't really follow Buachti, you know, at all. I just don't. AJ is Nigerian and not Congolese. Kurt, who wins? Oscar Rivas versus Martin McCauley. Martin McCauley. Oscar Rivas' eye is damaged. He's back in training. You know, he's I think he retired for a while. You know, he has that David Reed syndrome. David Reed was a golden Olympian at super welterweight. He fought Felix Trinidad at one point. He became champion. He lost I think it was the IBF belt when Trinidad did move up after he decisioned Oscar De La Hoya. And then after that, he fought Fernando Vargas, and then he went to 160 and was ultimately shut down by Bernard Hopkins. But no, David Reed was very quick, fast reflexes, but he had that damaged eye, you know. Skrilla, you always turn Miller into a BLT with cheese. Benavidez saw Beterbiev and Bivol. The next interview he did was calling out Canelo. Yeah, I think that's real silly at this point. Okay, and I'm not going to stay on that long, but David Benavidez is at 175. I heard his father say, "Well, hey, we'll take the fight." Look, Canelo Alvarez does not want to fight you. If he doesn't want to fight you, it's over. Leave it be. Leave it alone. Imagine Chinese Power versus McCauley. That would be a good fight. Frank Sanchez versus Martin McCauley. I think Frank should get a tune-up fight first. We need to see how that knee's going to react because he just had surgery. You don't want to just get thrown in there with someone that punches that fast and more than likely that hard. Okay? McCauley just has to put himself as a Mando. Yeah, he has to and then enforce it, and hopefully it's the IBF. Better BF would make Benavidez go back down in weight. Maybe. Um, I don't know if I don't know. See, here's the thing. I'm just waiting to see what happens with this fight because based on who the winner is, the undisputed champion, David Benavidez has a better chance. I just think he's worried more about that money, and he knows that that fight with Canelo would more than likely be easier than the winner out of those two guys. You know, so there you go. I reckon McCauley will be on Fury versus Usyk's fight card. Well, that would be cool. That would be very good. You know, we get to see him again. Mark McCauley versus Jermaine Franklin would be interesting. Pain. Just pain. Because Jermaine Franklin's good, but, you know, fighting someone like Mark McCauley, it would be a nice scrap. Um, Pain, bro. Painful. Damage. A lot of punches being landed. A lot of damage occurring, man. You know? Yeah, that would be something. But back to the source, back to the main topic. AJ versus Daniel Dubois, the face-off. I didn't get to see it. It's a shame I didn't get to see it. Hopefully they repost it instead of snatch it down like they did because I don't like this whole hey here it is but then psych no it ain't type situation. So hopefully I will see it again. I hope so. It would have been great if somebody would have recorded it. That would have been cool. But it was deleted. It was leaked. So my question is, when will it be out? Guys, I appreciate you guys coming on live. I have a lot to do, a lot more videos to make. I'm going to jump off of here. I'm going to come live tomorrow as well. So Sunday lives go very well. So I will see you guys then. Be blessed. Enjoy your weekend. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.